From axe-shaped fish to bone-eating zombies, here are 10 crazy things that live in the deepest place on Earth. Welcome to the Mariana Trench. Number 10. The frilled shark. The frilled shark has been around a long time. They are living fossils thought to have been swimming around for anywhere between 95 and 300 million years. Also, while they were first discovered in approximately 1880, they weren't actually described until 2004. This is one predator that really knows how to keep its head down. It lives at a depth of over 5,000 feet. Frilled sharks get their name from the frilly appearance of their gills. They can grow up to 7 feet and have a mind-boggling 300 teeth. Their teeth are so white they can actually attract prey. They feed on squid amongst other creatures, but aren't picky and will even eat other sharks. It can open its mouth so wide it's able to consume an animal up to half of its size. Random fact, they also have a really long gestation period of 3.5 years. When it was first seen, the frilled shark was compared to a sea serpent due to its eel-like body. Reportedly, legends of sea serpents came from sightings of this shark. That would make sense, right? While no one has ever seen it hunting, scientists think that it lunges at its prey like a snake. And while those gills might look pretty, they actually create a vacuum to suck in a meal. Since it lives so deep down and rarely comes up to shallow water, we will probably never see one. Number 9. The hatchetfish. Okay, so if you came face to face with this guy, you'd get one hell of a shock, right? Meet the deep sea hatchetfish, so called because of its metallic hatchet-shaped appearance. It can be found 5,000 feet down. The metal-like quality comes from its scales, which is just as well because if it weren't so shiny, you'd have trouble seeing it. The biggest hatchetfish are actually 15 centimeters long, and the species are bioluminescent, which you'd think would make them an easy target for predators. Actually, this little fish plays a neat trick with their light organs, which face downward, known as counter-illumination. Sounds like magic, right? The hatchetfish can adjust how bright it is according to the quantity of light shining down from above. By camouflaging itself this way, it can hide its shadow and be really difficult to spot. This is one hatchet you'll never see coming. Number 8. The sea devil anglerfish. You've probably seen this one in the movies. A sea devil anglerfish appeared in Finding Nemo, and the image has been used in some high-profile shows like The Simpsons. They were first described in 1864 and can live at a depth of over 6,000 feet. Like many deep-sea species, its movements are mysterious to experts, and the only one filmed alive was in 2014. The anglerfish's most distinctive feature is its esca. That's the fleshy tentacle-like thing sticking out of its head. It uses the glowing esca to attract prey. The anglerfish's dinner swims toward the light thinking it's going to get a juicy mouthful when we know that the only thing on the menu is them. The fish can open its mouth very wide. In fact, it's thought it can make its mouth bigger than itself, so it's capable of swallowing some big competition. When it comes to the battle of the sexes, the female anglerfish have an advantage over the males. They are much bigger. A male grows to around 3 centimeters, but a female can reach 18. However, the male gets its own back in a kind of gross way. Not much is known about the fish's reproductive cycle, but it's said that the male attaches himself to the female and feeds off of her until she's ready to accept his seed and start spawning. He starts to slowly disintegrate until he is nothing but teeth and testes. Maybe TMI. I'll move on. And now for one of the coolest animals ever. But first, if you are new here, welcome and be sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you. Number 7. The telescope octopus. Some deep-sea animals like to take it easy. I mean, there's a lot of pressure down there. Maybe none more so than the telescope octopus. Living anywhere from 500 to 6,500 feet below the surface, it's pretty laid back. In fact, that's literally what it does. Lie back and use its eyes to look up for any food swimming by. The eyes are the first thing you notice on a telescope octopus. They stick straight up on stalks in a telescopic way, which is where it gets its name. It can grow up to 20 centimeters long, meaning it can really stretch out. Like other octopuses, its body is dominated by its arms. However, you can also get a good look at its digestive gland if you want to. That's because it too is transparent and jelly-like. The good news for the octopus is that it's not too visible in the shadows, so it can avoid predators. Not sure a major organ on permanent display is a good look. Number 6. The benthocodon. Usually when you think of a jellyfish, you think of a transparent wobbly thing that stings your foot or something like that. Well, not this one. The benthocodon isn't transparent. It has a round red top which is 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter, and it won't sting you unless you run into it 2,500 feet below the surface. You'd have to be pretty crazy to be at that depth, and even crazier without any flippers on. To put that into perspective, most recreational scuba divers only dive as deep as 130 feet. Not much is known about this creature since it lives so deep down, but the reddish dome is great for eating because it helps the jellyfish hide its fluorescent prey and not attract predators while it eats them. To us, their prey just look like little particles that glow in the dark. Its danger is so far down because all those lights make you think that you are going towards prey when it might be a dangerous predator luring you in, like the anglerfish. Luckily for the benthocodon, it doesn't have to worry about that. It moves through the water by whisking its tentacles. It has at least 1,500 of them, so it can actually move through the ocean really fast. As ROVs go where no man has gone before, more and more new species of critters are being discovered deep down, like this new species of jellyfish and the frilled shark, to see what it does deep down in the trenches. Number 5. The barrel-eye fish. This fish with a transparent head shocked viewers when it appeared on Blue Planet. Also known as a spookfish, it has a jelly-like forehead that allows it to look up through its skull, giving it greater visibility. Pretty freaky, huh? It is a very efficient hunter that can live at a depth of at least 2,600 feet and can be anywhere from 15 to 40 centimeters long. The eyes are shaped like barrels and can be rotated both forward and up, and they act like binoculars to spot prey. Though it was discovered in 1939, the barrel eye had only been seen in a deceased state. That changed in 2004 when a live specimen was snapped up by scientists. Before that, no one knew about the transparent dome because it never survived the journey to the surface. It stays motionless a lot of the time and spends much of its life alone. Its minuscule mouth means it has to be selective over what it can chew. The barrelfish enjoys things like zooplankton, and the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute were able to record the live specimen swimming around in 2004 in the Mariana Trench. Number 4. The goblin shark. This shark is one ugly shark, hence why we call it the goblin shark. Of course, I wouldn't say that to its face, but its sword-like snout and prehistoric appearance make it truly unique. It's another living fossil and hasn't changed for millions of years. It grows up to 13 feet in length and reaches a weight of around 200 kilograms, so it's not one to be messed with. Not like it will mess around with us or anything. It's a slow-moving predator that prefers to hang out on the ocean floor waiting for things to swim overhead. Its diet includes squids and crabs, and it's been known to munch on plastic, which is a pretty sad remark on the condition of our planet. The freaky thing about this shark, apart from its big nose, is the way it eats its prey. It has as many as 115 teeth in its head, which are longer in the middle. When it goes to take a bite, its joints enable the jaws to slide forward like its teeth are coming out of its face. It's bad enough being eaten by a shark in the first place without it looking like Pennywise the Clown from It. Creepy, huh? Number 3. The zombie worm. Zombie worms, also known as bone-eating worms, were discovered by accident in 2002 when they appeared to be drilling into the skeletons of dead animals like whales and fish. This confused experts because they looked too squishy to be able to drill, but that is how they got their name. The answer came 10 years later in 2012. What the worms were doing was attaching themselves to the bone and using acid to dissolve the bones and extract the lipid goodness within. Yummy! Want to hear something else weird? There are male and female zombie worms, but they've got a bit of a bizarre relationship. You see, at first, scientists believed they were all female because that's all they could see. The males were actually inside the females, remaining in a larval state. Gives a whole new meaning to the expression man trouble. Number 2. Foraminifera. Foraminifera, or phora, are tiny organisms from the protist family. They vary between 100 micrometers and around 20 centimeters. Because many of them are so small and I'm guessing chewy, they are a prime source of food in the Mariana Trench. That's a shame because there's a lot more to these little things than meets the eye. Not that there's much to see in the first place with what them being so tiny. Phora use fine hairs called reticulopodia to catch their food, be it plankton or even small animals. These creatures are small, but they are experienced at life. They're thought to date back to the Carboniferous and Permian eras, so they are living fossils going back around 300 million years. Those who feast on them also have to crunch through their shells. These are made from stuff like sand and organic particles. The shells can be hollow tubes or spheres, and they can contain little chambers. Phora are related to algae, and it's been known for algae to actually grow inside these chambers, kind of the ultimate deep-sea apartment share. Number 1. The ping pong tree sponge. The strangest thing on this list might also be the nastiest. Sure, ping pong tree sponge sounds like something out of SpongeBob SquarePants, and it's one beautiful looking life form. But despite this charming exterior, this isn't a thing to be messed with. It lives nearly 9,000 feet underwater, and if you're a small creature, it spells bad news. This is a carnivorous sponge. You heard me right, it's a sponge that kills. The 50-centimeter tall stalk has a series of stems on top of it which hang in the water, and if you're a crustacean and you swim too close, you soon know about it. Each stem ends in a network of tiny hooks called spicules, which you can easily get caught in. Then what happens is the slow and terrible death. Cells travel up to literally dissolve your body. Because the ping pong tree sponge doesn't have internal digestion, it has to do it on the outside where everyone can see it. Imagine not only being eaten, but also being on display for the whole ocean to gawp at. Plus, you're alive as it happens. For such a pretty thing, it has some pretty scary behavior. Thanks for watching. Were you surprised by any of these? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you